Hi guys, I was just about to film another embroidery video that has to do with using the USB port, but I want to quickly mention, because in this video for embroidering, just your child's name or a name on a sweater, I kept trying to see if there was a preview, because I know there's a preview like where they'll show you in a field where exactly it's going to be stitched, your word or your design, and it wasn't working for me. So I was just like, okay, I thought it was this button, and I'm pressing lots of buttons in the video, and I just wanted to show you. I opened up the operation manual. Please read the manual. It's not that thick, like at least to have an idea of what's in here. There are so many ideas in here or information. It's really great. So one of the things I mentioned to you guys was that I didn't want to use large letters because I wanted it to all fit in the embroidery field. Well, if that happens, or let's say you still want your large letters, right? You don't have to be confined to only using certain size letters, is you just do your continuous, right? So when you go to embroider, then you just kind of move it over, and then you use this buttons, the same buttons that I used to kind of back up the design like I used. You can use to help you stay where you need to be, right? So you're still lined up and everything, and then just continue writing whatever word it is that you want in the size of letters that you would like. A lot of information in here. Part of it is that you are supposed to just click on that one button, and I tried to do it a couple times and it never, showed you here. It's the memo. To see the entire embroidering area, like where exactly it's going to embroider, even though you've already lined up your stuff and you have it in there and you're ready to go, just make sure it's going to embroider where you think it's going to embroider. You just press that little loopy thing, right? The embroidery area, and then the embroidery frame moves to show you the embroidery area. It's going to just move, and it's so that you know, like, oh, this is where it's going to embroider. Which is great. It's a great thing to have. But for some reason when I was pressing it wasn't working. So I just wanted to tell you guys about that so you know now, before having to watch another video of where the preview area is. It's just that little, it looks like replay or something. That's all you have to press. And as you can see, it's here. Basically just where I chose all these different things under that area. So I just want to mention that, okay? So let's get to it. Hi guys, so I've had a lot of questions involving the Brother Disney machine that I had reviewed recently. I think probably because it's on Amazon, it's super inexpensive. If you're looking for an embroidery machine, I don't want to say, well, it's $300, it's inexpensive. For some people it's not, but it's a great price for an embroidery machine. Now when I got mine, there was like a little discount coupon that I was able to add, so I got it for less than $300. It was like $290 something. But I've been having a lot of fun with it, and so there's a couple things that people have been asking me is how to use the USB, or if it even has a USB port, which I mentioned in the review video it does, but the video was like an hour long, so I can understand why people might miss that. So let me turn this. Right here is your USB port. Now what I understand about it is that you can hook up your computer right to it, like if you have a laptop and you want to go through some designs that you have. And I'm going to make a video about that after this video because that one's a little more complicated. But right now, all I want to do is embroider my daughter's name on a sweater that she took to school the other day. And unfortunately, she lost it that same day, and it's a school sweater, right? So she's like, oh, I don't know, I left it, and she's in kinder. So, so we have our little school sweater here, and I was like, I'm just gonna embroider her name on it. I should have done it to begin with. I literally had just taken off the tags, gave it to her, and she misplaced it, but her teacher was able to find it later in the day. So what I want to do, I was looking online, different places. I'm like, where should I place her now? I mean, I can put it here, but it's kind of high. Maybe I can put it on there. I know sometimes you can put it on the sleeve and it looks cool. Like my son had his wrestling sweaters and it would have like Luna on the side, on the arm, and sometimes on the back, So there's different places you can embroider it. I'm going to embroider it on her hood because I think that's cute. She hardly ever wears the hood. So when they wear it with the hood down, it can have her name right across here and it'll look really cool, and no one can misplace it or take it or whatever happens, because it seems like whenever my kids lose something, I'm surprised that her teacher even found this. They never get it back. My son has lost tons of lunch bags. I'm like, who would take your lunch bag? But apparently that was happening. And then sweaters, hoodies, all that stuff. So what I plan to do is find the middle of the hood, and then we're going to embroider that. So what I'm going to show you today is how to use this to just type up a font and get it embroidered. The other, let me see. Yeah, I guess that's it. So I was just thinking about what the other things that people have asked me about. So, the other place, if you are going to put on the arm, it's going to be very hard for this little tiny shirt to be stretched over the hoop. I believe the hoop does a 4-inch square, even though it's more like a 4x6 hoop. You can see this is where you can embroider. So I forgot to talk about this template in the last video because I didn't use it. But basically, if you want to see where things are going to be printed up, you can use this to kind of help you see exactly what it's going to end up looking like. Basically, this goes in here like this. If you have this on here, you'll be able to help. This will help you decide where you want to put your wording and where you need to situate this for that to work. But what I was going to say is, people do this all the time, and I'm just too afraid to, but you can just unsew the arm. Just go on this backside and rip the seam, basically. And then it'll open up, and then you can get it on the hoop nicer, do what you're going to embroider, and then just sew it back up. And that's, you know, if you're, you don't even have to be that great at sewing for that, because that's literally just, I have a serger I wouldn't use because that will take some off, but see how it's serged? You can just sew it back up again with a zigzag stitch and a straight stitch, or however you want to do it. It's just a straight stitch. And then you have your embroidery on your arm or your sleeve. So what I'm going to do is get things together that we're going to need. I'm going to use this red embroidery thread. This is Gooderman 100% viscose. There's already, I think, plenty of embroidery bobbin in here, which I showed you in the last video how to wind and what that looks like. So I'm not going to spend time doing that right now. I am going to be using, hopefully I have it here. I always have everything kind of put together for my embroidery stuff. Where is it? This one. Since it might end up being a little bit visible, I'm not sure, with her name under here, you know, when it opens up, you might be able to see the back a little bit sometimes. I want it to look a little bit neater, so you can still use the white tearaway stabilizer, this same basic stuff like I showed you guys before. This stuff, or the kind that has like little holes in it. But I do have this water soluble one, and this one's cool because it basically just melts away, and all you're gonna see is just the threads, right? The threads from the top, and then the threads underneath are just gonna be there, the bobbin thread. So I'm gonna use this stuff, and this stuff is a little more expensive, but it's worth it. I mean, you can use it for all different sorts of projects, but there's different reasons why you would use different weights and different types of stabilizers, or what is this stuff called? Yeah. And so let me get that kind of arranged. I'll get this thing hooped up. In the next little section here, I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll start punching in what we need to do to get it embroidered. Okay, so when we're hooping our stuff, remember that this little metal piece should be to your left, because you're gonna put that into the machine that way, okay? So any excess fabric, you probably want to tuck it away this way just to keep it out of the way of the arm moving. But sometimes if it's not possible to do that, or it's a big item, or you're making it go this way, it just depends on what you need to hoop. Just keep that in mind, and then hoop from there, okay? So I'm gonna hold that, or put that down, I guess. I'm gonna need some of the water-soluble stuff, and this looks like nothing, but this is a ton of this stuff here, and I don't need too much. I basically need it to cover the hoop. So I don't like wasting, so I always try to just be a little frugal with this. And so this happens to be the Sulky brand. When I first got my machines, and this I bought like over a decade ago, everyone's like, oh, Sulky Solvy is the best, or Sulky, you know, threads. So I always buy everything Sulky. But now that I've done things, and it's great stuff, but now that I've done more, I don't have to have just Sulky. But anyway, so I'm gonna take the hoop out and just kind of loosen it up quite a bit more, because it's gonna be a sweater I'm gonna try to stick in here. Oh, see. Okay, there goes that. So I'm gonna put this down, because that's gonna go underneath, right? You always need your stabilizer underneath. If this was the white paper, the white one, same thing. You always put it underneath. And then I'm going to, let's make sure I have this thing right. Okay. So what I was doing, I was pretty much eyeballing this. I'm not trying to, you know, I'm just getting the mid section of the hood and really kind of creasing that so I know exactly where the middle is. And then you have to kind of decide where you want the print, and also where this can print, right? So that's kind of what this is here for. If I'm looking at this, I have to basically put her name right in this section. And to be honest, I probably should write her name bigger, and it should probably, maybe I should use my quintet, because I can make the name bigger on there. But I'm just gonna make it obviously what it is. So the reason I'm creasing this is when I open this up right now, I know where the middle section of that is. Try to keep it. Okay, sorry, before I really start hooping it up, I'm going to go ahead and just draw a line on here so I know where that middle is. So I'm just gonna lay this down. I was pinching it, hoping that would be enough, but it wasn't quite enough. So I'm just going to try to get a mark on here. course, this doesn't really want to let you mark it. At least have an idea of kind of where the center is. Okay, so I have a little white, just the faintest mark there. Okay, so again, hoop to the left, we have our water-soluble stabilizer. And then before I talk about this little thing, it has also an arrow, and here it just has like a notch. Make sure that arrow is facing the arrow at the top, so top. And then what I'm gonna do is take this, I'm only taking the hood, and I'm gonna put it like halfway in here, and what I'm gonna do is use this little guide to help me know that it's right in the middle. So basically what this guide is telling you, and I might have mentioned already, I just don't remember how many times I've talked about different things. It's gonna show you where something might stitch. This is the area it's gonna stitch. So right in there. And that's fine. So I just need that to kind of help me know where I'll be at. Now this part is always fun. And I try not to move the sweater too much here, but we're just going to take this and push, push, push down as much as you can. Hopefully not moving the item that you're going to embroider too much, because then it might get a little wonky. That's actually pretty good. Now there's still a little bit of looseness in here, so I'm going to hold it. Try not to pull the fibers too tight, but try to get it where you need it, you know? And just kind of maneuver it that way. And I can kind of see that this is a little bit crooked. It's not quite in the middle, but I can adjust that then, or I can take the hoop off and adjust it here. But I'll just kind of keep that in mind when I go to do my embroidery. I don't really want to rehoop this thing, which, you know. So if we put this little thing down, and there's a little like stitch guides there, and I can kind of see, so I'm about 1 block of space here, and I kind of want her name like in this area, and then I'm gonna have to move it down just a little bit that way, but we can get it going. Okay, to be honest, I just went ahead and moved it a little bit because I don't know if I'm gonna have enough room. Like I said, it's already tight enough to write her name in here because it's such a small field, so I centered it. Okay, now tighten this up as much as you can. And then we're gonna move this to the side and bring our machine over, and this is the fun stuff. Super fun. Again, if you need more information as far as how to wind your bobbin and all that, I already have that in the previous video, and I'll have it linked at the description box and then maybe at the end cap there. So I just turned the machine on over there on the right, and I'm gonna try to get a little bit closer to this so we can see what's going on. So, touch your screen. Okay, it says keep the carriage. First of all, if your presser foot is down, it's gonna ask you to raise the presser foot. So my presser foot's up, but if it asks you that, then just lift it up and it goes on to the next thing. It says to keep your hands away from the carriage because it's gonna move. And you just say okay. And all it does is move that little arm carriage over here for a couple seconds. So there's fancy scripts, like let's say you want something, this is more of a monogram, as you can see. So if you just want to monogram something, and there's 1 of 8, so you can keep going through if you want monograms, but we're not doing monogram. So let's go back, and I want the letters. And I want it to be pretty bold. Like this one looks more like the Hercules letters. I was hoping that they would have a Disney font. Wouldn't that be nice? But maybe they couldn't afford to pay for that. I don't know. It's not on here. So I'm going to click number 1. And I want my daughter's name. So when right now the size, it doesn't let you choose the size of the letters. There's numbers, there's accents even, you know, with different accents and stuff. I'm gonna press M, and that's the capital M, but I want a lowercase I. So now at this point you can change the size of the letters, and I want medium letters because I want it to fit. If I stay with large, it's not gonna, I can't type more than I think 3 letters. So it would be good to do like MVL, her initials. That'd be nice, but I want her name. So it's gonna be small, and that's okay with me. So let's go to the next page. I want an I, R, go back for the lowercase a, go back for the N, Miranda, and then go back for the D and the A, Miranda. Okay, so I'm gonna set that. Now what's cool about this is that you can move it, you can size it differently. Let's say, oh, you know what, maybe I want it to be a certain size. Okay, so it's already on medium letters, but I want it to be this way or that way or whatever. So let's just say, okay, I want to go back because I'm going to move it first because I do want it to be, oh, not that move, sorry, rotate. So when people see it from the back of her hood, I want it to be readable when her hood is down, right? So, and my hood's coming this way, so I need it to be like this. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, and that's going to be perfect. Because like I said, the hood's coming in this way, and I want it when the hood's down for people to be able to read it on the back. And if it ends up that it's going to be readable from the front, that's fine too, right? I'm just choosing right now what something that I've never really done before. So I'm gonna say okay. So I moved it. Now this one right here gives you density, and I really want the letters to be nice and dense. So I don't know how high you got to get this. And if you look at it, it looks darker and darker as you go. So I'm going 150. I don't know. Let's say 120. Let's say 120 just to see what that looks like. Because I don't want it to look like kind of junky. I want it to be nice and full. So let's just say 120 because I don't know what it's going to look like at the end of this. I probably should do a trial run. And then if you want to edit the font, you can press font edit. You can pick that you want it multicolor. So that's going to separate the letters out even more, even though right now they each have a little block on their name. The array is kind of cool because you can make it more rounded. And that's what I like about this because I can just do it with the press of a button. With the Futura, it was a little more complicated than that. Again, you can choose the letters differently and then the spacing. So I was like, it is kind of close. So if I can space it, the kerning and the letters a little bit wider, so I'm opening it up. I just pressed it twice. If you want a letter separate from the others, or like there's all kinds of different things here. So I'm just gonna say okay because I'm good. And I think I'm ready to go. It's always scary when it's like, okay, let me press. Okay, that's what I thought. So edit end. Ooh, okay. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and bring my hoop over because I kind of want to see what it's gonna tell me that where it's gonna be. So again, we have all this bulk over here. I'm gonna hold it to this side. I'm going to go ahead and place the hoop. I'm lifting up the presser foot just a little bit more. I'm gonna get my hoop in here. Okay, so there's two little areas to push down into. So the whole time that this thing is gonna be doing its thing, I always want to make sure to keep the sweater out of the way as much as I can. So I'll keep it there, but I'll kind of try to keep it nice and light. Like don't be in the way really, okay? So now let's look at this again. So it's gonna print Miranda. I still have to put in our string. So yeah. So hold on one second. I want to see where it's going to embroider because a lot of times it'll give you an idea. Let me figure this out and I'll be right back. Okay, so what I did is I went ahead and placed my little guide here just so I can see what's going on. And I think I'm gonna move this down quite a bit. So I'm gonna move it like there. I know there's a way to preview what you're gonna see or how it's gonna embroider, and I don't know where that is, unfortunately. But let's see. So there's a midline. I'm gonna press embroidery because I want to see. Basically, we're going to the next thing, and that's where it should do it. Midline. I'm gonna go back one because I'm gonna go back one and I think I want this a little bit higher. What a bummer, because I know there's a way to preview it, but I don't see how to preview it. It's not this either, because if I press that, it just is okay, All right. Well, we're just gonna go for it at this point. All right, so let's go ahead and get our our thread in here. And where's my thread? I think I saw it. Here it is. And this is kind of how I do it, guys. I just go for it. To be honest, what happens is if it doesn't look right, you can just pull out the stitches or stop it and then as soon as it starts. But there is a way to view it, so I'm sorry that I can't I think I showed it in the other video. I don't know why I can't find it right now, but oh well. Okay. Because it'll kind of hoop it, and then you can say that you want to see it, and it goes, and it'll show you kind of where it's going to be. What is this? I'm like, what is this? Let me press these buttons. Nah. Okay. So I put our thread. We're going to go through number 1. It's all numbered, so it's not too difficult. Number 2 goes around here, and then we're not going to go that way because that's if you're going to do your bobbin. And then we go down to number 3, up to number 4, down to number 5. And if this thing is set up in the right spot, you should be able to do your threading, your automatic threader. So I'm going to go to number 6, which is right above the needle area, and then into number 7, which is here. And I think this has to be at the highest setting. And then you press this tab. Nope, see, it's too high. Or something. Let me see. Where did it go? I'm going to hold it to number 8, which is supposed to be back here. Alright, there we go. So now it's threaded on its own, but yes, your needle has to be at the highest position. And then you come in here and try to get that little loop that it leaves you and pull the thread through, okay? So that's ready. I'm going to remove this guard, of course. And let's see what happens. So I'm going to put the presser foot down because obviously your presser foot needs to be down. And this is always like so scary to me. Presser foot is down. And we are going to go ahead and embroider. Oh, we're going to press our button here. See what happens. It's doing its tack down stitches. And again, I want this to move freely, so whatever bulk is in the way, make sure it's out of the way. It's an interesting stitch. It's not my favorite, I'm not gonna lie, but like I said, I just want to get her name on this. Also, if you wanted to use some this stuff here to stick your water-soluble stabilizer or your stabilizer to your fabric, you can use this stuff. But some people say that if you use this stuff, it voids your warranty. So I would be very careful as far as using it. I would definitely make sure that the company doesn't have those kind of stipulations, or that you get the one that says embroidery for embroidery machines, right? So this quilt basting spray, it's very light. I've never had a problem with it. I've used it on all my Futura machines, but you would just spray this between your stabilizer and then your fabric, put your fabric down, and it holds it down, right? For this, I didn't even use it, and it looks like it's doing just fine. So I'm gonna let it keep going. It tells you we have about 3 minutes left. Almost half the stitches are done. So it's gonna keep going, and this is much smaller than I thought. So we'll see what the font looks like when I'm done here. Okay, it's coming up on the last letter, and it looks really cute. So I'm okay with it. Just kind of a bummer that it wasn't quite as big as what I was looking for. But like I said, this one's gonna only let you put so many stitches or so many letters. But this is good for a quick little thing. I like the A, it's cute. It's very stylized. Okay. That's the last thing, and it's gonna tell me it's done. I promise for the next one I'll find the preview button. I don't know why it didn't show it to me. So it says finish embroidering, say okay, and that's it. I would have liked to see that, because what happens is this will move around and it'll show you like, this is where I'm going to embroider. Is that still good? And then you say, you know, obviously you can fix it or if you want. So I know it does that, and I showed it in the last video. I don't know why I can't find it right now. I'm just gonna cut this extra strand that's up here, and basically that's it. So let's lift our presser foot. I mean, if there's something else that you want to print here, and maybe I want to put her last name now that I'm looking at her, you know, I might have to move it though, because again, this is the field that it'll embroider in, okay? So to take it off, we have to push back or pull back this silver tab, and then it just pops up. And then we need to cut off, oh, it actually does it for you. It cuts off the bobbin so you don't even have to mess with that. But see how nice and clean it is on the back? And basically all you see is the stitches. So it's kind of a waste of some of this stuff. Like I said, it's kind of not cheap, but that'll work for me. So let me pop this out. Ah. You know what? I just want to take a picture of this real quick. So there, I wanted a nice stable image. And then this stuff you just tear away. Now, if you really wanted to and you're gonna do something else that's small like this, you can probably just keep this same piece of stabilizer and just put it in the area that you need it, like this piece, right? Because that's still a lot of stabilizer. So the rest that's kind of stuck in here, these little pieces will just wash away. It'll just go away, but you can also kind of pinch it off if you wanted to. And there's Miranda. Only a little bit crooked, right? Like that's the midsection, and I have one letter. I think I should have moved that just a little bit more that way. But how cute is that? I love it. So now when she wears it, her little hood, her name's on there, and hopefully no one takes it. So thanks for watching, guys. That was just a quick and simple one. The next one I am going to use the USB port for you guys. I'm going to input hopefully an image from a design from Designs by Juju. Check them out right now. Until like mid-January, they're having their sets of embroidery designs. They're like 10 for 10, so $1 each basically. And if you buy $20 worth, you get 6 free fonts, and they are wonderful. I love their company. I have nothing to do with them. I just really like them for all their designs. And when I'm talking about sets, it's not just like one image. It's like a whole alphabet or a whole font or a whole whatever it is. So they really cute stuff. So thanks for watching, and I will meet you guys then. Bye now.